Okay, we're going to get started. Welcome everybody to our May 2021 pledge. And I am so happy that we've had a successful 3 weeks since school came back from spring break, and lots of kids are here on campus, and we have a lot of kids at home watching at the same time too. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our Otter Pledge. I am a member of the Ord Terrace family. I act responsibly. I behave respectfully. I care for all. Think about ways that you have acted responsibly since we came back. At school, have you been wearing your mask? Have you been staying 3 feet from others when you have your mask on? And have you been throwing garbage in the garbage can when you're done eating? Have you been putting the recess equipment away? Have you been trying your best? Those are different ways to be responsible. How have you been respectful? Have you been respectful by making sure that everybody around you is safe? Remember, with COVID, you might never know if you actually have it. Some people don't have symptoms, and so that's why you wear a mask, because you just don't ever know 100% for sure unless you get a test. So that's why you wear a mask, to be respectful of others' safety. You're keeping other people safe. That's the reason you wear your mask. Are you caring? Do you show care to others? How do you do that? I know that the adults here are doing the same thing. We're respectful by wearing our masks, and we are respectful by trying to make sure that we keep all of you safe. Also, for students that are at home, we're respectful by making sure that we try to include you as much as possible in what we do. Okay. We're not going to sing the Otter song because right now we're not supposed to sing in the classroom, because it creates more air coming out of your mouth, which might not be as safe. So we're going to skip the song this month. Just a reminder that Summer Academy signups need to be completed. So your parents need to either complete it in Parent Square, they need to call the office and let us know if you're coming, or you need to return the paper if you haven't returned it. Your teachers all got a list Friday, and it was updated by Friday night with all the kids that have either returned papers to the office or have responded with a phone call or have responded in Parent Square. So if you have not already returned them, please do. Very soon, I'm going to send a confirmation with families so that you know absolutely for certain. But if you signed up, you will get in. There is a slot for everyone, okay? Masks, just a reminder about our rules. Number one, they need to be worn at all times except in certain situations. So here's some of those situations where you can take your mask off. You can take a mask break. You can take a mask break to drink some water, which I didn't put on here because I forgot. You can take a mask break to drink some water very quickly in the classroom or outside the classroom. You can also stand outside the classroom door for a minute or two and take a quick break. You know what? Wearing a mask all day is kind of annoying. It's hard. It's hard to wear a mask all day long. So right now I'm by myself in my office, so I know I can take a little bit of a mask break because there's nobody around me. But need to remember that if you need a mask break, you need to let your teacher know. And your teacher has a system for allowing you to take a mask break. So you need to check with your teacher to know what that system is, okay? You can take a mask break in a designated part of the classroom if your teacher allows it. Now, some teachers might let you sit by the back door or by a window, and some teachers really might need you to just stand outside for a minute. But you need to talk to your teacher to know what their procedure is for that. You can take a mask break outside when you're at recess on the spots on the ground where you eat and where you line up. So where you eat lunch and where you eat snack, you can go over there anytime and sit down and take your mask off and sit for a couple of minutes. But you have to make sure that other people are far away from you, okay? They need to be at least 6 feet away from you. Mask break is not playtime. But if you need to take your mask off for a minute or two and sit on those spots, that is okay. But then you need to put your mask back on before you go play. Also, your mask break needs to be kind of short. All right, you can't have your mask off the entire time, but you can have it off just for a brief amount of time. And you shouldn't need to take mask breaks every 5 minutes. It's a sometimes thing. It's every once in a while, okay? Make sure you cover your nose. I know it's really easy for your mask to fall down below your nose, but you need to make sure it's covered. If your mask is too big, then it probably is why it's falling down a lot, and you can get a better fitting mask from the office. Just don't come down to the office and ask for it. Your teacher can call and we can bring one down to you, okay? Finally, if you are asked to cover your mouth, you need to do it. So if a teacher or a grown-up says, mask on, please, you need to put your mask on. Cover your nose, thanks. You need to put your mask on. We are trying to be safe and respectful and responsible. And we're not telling you because we're angry with you or anything, but we are doing it because this is keeping everybody safe, okay? All right. Now, May is Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. And I'm going to show you a video, and hopefully the sound will work, about Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Here you can see a picture, a drawing of some famous Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Some of you might recognize Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's in a lot of action movies. Lots of different people. And just a reminder, Asia is a continent. So here on the left, we've got North America, where we live, South America, Africa, Europe, Australia. We have Asia here. And Antarctica is on the bottom here. You can't really see it. But we have Asia here. And Asia is a very, very big continent. It has lots of different countries. You can see all the different countries in Asia here. And there's also lots of islands here between the United States and this side of Asia. And we call people whose families come from that region Pacific Islanders, or they have heritage from the Pacific Islands. But Asian and Pacific Islander people are not all the same. They speak many different languages. There's over 100 languages, eat lots of different foods, have different cultures. So we're going to watch a little video about Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Languages, there's over 100 languages. Hold on, I got to fix something here. Have different cultures. So we're going to watch. There we go. That's the mistake I made last time. I had it playing in the background. Here we go.
May is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. It's a time for the United States to give special recognition to the many contributions to our history and society with roots in Asia and the Pacific Islands. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are a very diverse group of people. They come from almost 50 different countries, including China, Japan, India, Pakistan, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Tahiti. Although some of the islands, like Hawaii, Guam, and Samoa, became U.S. states and territories, their inhabitants are still considered to be Pacific Islanders by heritage. And having come from so many places, they speak more than 100 languages and dialects. With such a variety of customs and traditions, it's no surprise that they have contributed a wealth of literature, art, music, games, and cuisine to American culture. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have been responsible for some of America's greatest scientific, technological, and economic achievements, too. In fact, the early immigrants from the mid-1800s laid nearly 2,000 miles of track for the Transcontinental Railroad, which opened on May 10, 1869. To commemorate this anniversary, President Jimmy Carter, in 1979, declared the first week of May to be Asian Pacific American Heritage Week. In 1992, President George H.W. Bush signed a law to extend the holiday for the entire month of May in order to celebrate all the past, present, and future achievements of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Now, throughout the month, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders showcase their heritage at festivals and celebrations across the country. At one of these festivals, you might learn to dance the hula, make a Chinese paper lantern, write your name in Japanese calligraphy, or taste some new foods like spicy curry or poi. What would you like to learn about Asian American and Pacific Islander cultures?
So think about what you might want to learn. I am going to set up Flipgrid later, and I will post it in your Google Classrooms. And if you would like to do some research on Asian American Pacific Islander History Month, that would be great, because we haven't done a lot of that here at Ord Terrace, and we have several students who identify as Asian or Pacific Islander, or have family members who identify as Asian American or Pacific Islander. And it's just really, really important that we celebrate all of the cultures and the amazing things about our families that other people might not know. The other option is, if you want to write a little bit about your family or your heritage, maybe interview somebody in your family. One thing I used to do when my great-grandmother was alive was I used to interview her and ask her a lot about her life. And so oftentimes when we interview family members to find out a little bit more about our cultures and our backgrounds, it tells us a lot more about ourselves. So I look forward to learning more about all of you. And also, if you don't identify as Asian American, you can also do some research about the month. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Oops, hold on. There we go. All right. So we have a lot of things we're celebrating this month. So I'm going to go kind of quickly, but I want everybody to remember this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So I want you to think, how does your teacher help you learn? What does your teacher do to help you learn? My teacher, oops, I have a typo in this. I'm going to change that right now. My teacher helps me learn. Oops, helps me. Here we go. My teacher helps me by blinking. There we go. For example, my teacher helps me by, oh my goodness, Mr. Sampson's making lots of mistakes today. That's okay. I'm just going to fix it right now. There we go. My teacher helps me by telling me how to share my opinion with others. That's my idea. So teachers give us language to help us share our ideas. If you agree or disagree with something, how does your teacher help you? What does your teacher do? If you're at home, I want you to think about it. And if you're in the classroom, I want you to share it with somebody nearby. What does your teacher do to help you learn? What do you appreciate about your teacher? What do you like about your teacher? Okay, so your teachers will very much appreciate any thank yous, any drawings, cards, anything that shows that you appreciate them. So make sure you let your family know, and make sure you show your teacher this week how much you appreciate them, how much you care about them. Also coming up here, starting Thursday, is Nurse Appreciation Week. Nurse Appreciation Week actually starts on May 6th, which is a Thursday, and ends May 12th. And we have 3 people that work in our nurse's office. We have Nurse Diane, who's here in the picture. We have Nurse Kim, and we also have Mrs. Cordova. These 3 people help make sure we stay safe. So make sure you show your appreciation when you see them around campus. Also, Classified Appreciation Week will be May 16th through 22nd. And classified staff are basically all the staff who are not your teacher. So anybody else who's on campus who's not your teacher is probably a member of our classified staff. And I'm going to quickly show you who they are. I'm going to show you their faces very, very quickly. You won't have time to read about them, but you can see their pictures here. So we have Mix Ruiz, Mrs. Jones, Ms. Vargas, Ms. Avila, Mix Meg, Mrs. Alvarado, Ms. Y, Ms. P, Ms. Kirsten, Ms. Valenzuela, Ms. Sue Welling, Mrs. Gonzalez, who makes sure we get food, Miss Abby, Mr. Anthony, Miss Leffler, Mrs. Sanchez, Miss Rosiles, Mr. Edge, Mr. Martin, oops, Miss Torres, Mr. Growth, Mr. Saldana, oops, Miss T, Miss Julia, Mrs. Diaz, Mr. Williams, Miss Jimena. So we have lots of different classified staff who work here, and that's not even all of them. So if you see our classified staff starting May 16th, these are the people we are appreciating all their hard work. So thank you so much for all you do to support Ord Terrace. May 22nd, there's another thing that we celebrate in May. It's Harvey Milk Day. Harvey Milk was a supervisor. He was a politician in San Francisco in the 1970s. And the thing that he did that we celebrate was he was the first openly gay elected official in California and an advocate for LGBT rights. And back then, a lot of people didn't celebrate who they were. And he was one of the first people to be open about who he was. So Harvey Milk Day is May 22nd, and there's an amazing book that I encourage you to look up on YouTube called Pride. I think it's called Pride, the Story of Harvey Milk. It's a very, very cool book, one of my favorites. And Harvey Milk is also a hero of mine because he helped me when I was, reading about him helped me when I was growing up. As a gay man, it really was inspiring to me to know that there was somebody who was willing to be open about who he was. So that's what Harvey Milk Day is in California. We celebrate it on May 22nd. Finally, Memorial Day, May 31st. It's the last day of the month this year. And Memorial Day is the day we remember and honor people who died while serving in our military and serving our country. So a lot of people join the military, like the Army or the Air Force, the National Guard. People who join the military are doing it because they want to make sure that our country is protected and also help people around the world. For example, people in the National Guard right now are doing a lot of work to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated for against COVID, and also make sure that people who don't have food get food. Some people who sign up for the military go to other countries as well. Most people who sign up for the military and serve in the military are safe, and they're very proud of their service. And many people, like Mr. Sperry on our staff, served in the military proudly, and he retired from the military, but he's also a teacher here at our school. But there are people who, as they were serving in the military, died, and they were doing that to protect our country and serve our country, and we honor them on May 31st. So that's what that day is for. And we don't have school on that day because it's such an important day to remember all those who protected our country. All right. So you can tell that May has a lot of things in it, but I thought, you know what? All of those things are so important for you all to know about. So I'm going to tell you about all of them. I hope it was informative. There's a lot of stuff that you can learn about in May. And I really, truly am just so excited to see everybody back at school. I so look forward to going into classrooms this weekend and seeing more of the amazing stuff that's happening. And I'm just so incredibly proud of all of you. And I'm grateful to all of your families for being incredibly flexible. And I'm so grateful to our teachers and to our classified staff and our CPY staff for being such an amazing team. So thank you very much for all your hard work and your dedication, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.